Good evening and welcome to Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms. This is Raph streaming to you live high above the keep in the hot air balloon. Tonight we have a very special guest, Joseph. Joseph, how are you doing tonight?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
All right, and as always, my partner in crime, Neindorf. Neindorf, how you doing?
Good day. It's just got through some T-ball a little bit ago, and I'm ready to talk some DFK.
Nice. Yeah, I'm really excited. So, first I have to come clean with some beef that I have out there. So, as many of you know, we have a couple admins helping us out on our Discord channel. One of those admins, Guy Kidd, shared a Twitter post today about a battle that was a tournament that was going on, and it was called DFK Fight Club. And I logged into this Discord channel for the first time, and the first thing I thought to myself was, WTF, because what the heck is going on? Guy Kidd knows how much I love turn-based combat. He's heard me talk about how this is my dream for DFK, and he's kept this a secret from me. And so first off, got to get that beef off my chest. And so that's why we have Joseph on tonight to talk about his very special project going on right now, which is DFK Fight Club. So we'll get into that here in a little bit. First off, Neindorf, why don't you give us a question of the day?
Yeah, I mean, I think I love what you posted into the Discord. Yeah, I did not look like that in college one bit. He posted a picture of the legitimate Fight Club movie. I just thought that was pretty funny, by the way. But
Brad Pitt,
uh,
yeah. He's
yeah, no doubt.
shirtless.
Yeah, he's a beast. I was not a beast. Anyway, so kind of with Fight Club in mind, now is the whole rules of Fight Club. I guess what it's kind of a strange one maybe, but what should the second rule be? No one's ever allowed to have a second rule, and I think that's absolute crap. What's the second rule of Fight Club? Maybe DFK Fight Club in this opinion.
Well, I don't. What's the first rule of DFK Fight Club? Let's make Joseph answer that.
There you go.
Well, I think we can always go back to the original Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. And those are the first and second rules. So we're a bunch of rule breakers right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. We're streaming it actually, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got to break the rules here. This is a lot of fun, and the combat style that you've chosen is very near and dear to my heart. I'm catching some Final Fantasy VII vibes. I don't know, was that any influence to you?
Um, I mean, I play a lot of RPGs. I didn't play Final Fantasy VII myself. I have played Final Fantasy X,
Okay.
but I think the ones that I've played a lot more were Final Fantasy Tactics
Sure.
and Fire
Yeah.
Emblem.
Okay. Yeah. Love me some Fire Emblem for sure. All right. Well, let's first go to some of the release notes recently. So today is, I don't know what's today. They call it Thursday, I think. It's June 9th, and yesterday was Wednesday, which was the typical release date, and they had a bit of a, I'll call it half release, and it sounds like they are going to have the full release of Duels coming out next week, next Wednesday. Um, and so this week we got the what I like to call affectionately the pet grinder, and so you can turn in two presumably common pets, and if they're two pets from a gray egg, you get a gray egg back in return. Two pets from a blue egg, you get a blue egg back from return, and if you send one of each, I believe it's a 50-50 chance. So Neindorf, you grinding up any guys?
Man, no way. There's so few pets out there relative to heroes. I don't know. Unless they change the mechanic on egg drop rates, or maybe these higher level profession quests, or maybe even once pets are usable and like we start seeing egg production from all of our heroes grow, I still think pets are undervalued. I don't know. I'm not gonna grind a single one until there's plenty of them out there for everybody.
Well, despite what you and Ogre tried to convince me of last time. I have not had the stones to press buy on a pet yet. How about you, Joseph? What's your pet stable look like?
I think I have like 15, 16, all like commons and uncommons.
Okay.
Um, I have a lot of heroes, and a lot of them have been questing. I'm not going to grind any of mine up because I don't know what it's going to be like, how they actually play out. I'll wait to grind them up when there's more info released.
Yeah, I
I
like that. That makes a lot of sense. We know what these bonuses are, for example.
Yeah, and kind of get a feel for the magnitude of the bonuses. It felt like reading the notes that it sounds like you're going to get extra experience when doing the professional quest that aligns with the pet itself. So what do you think about that from a questing standpoint? That feels pretty juicy, I would say.
Yeah, again, I think the magnitudes are going to really define whether this is good or okay. I have a couple of rare pets. I guess I got lucky there in the sense that I think I've only hatched eight or nine of mine, and so to have a few rares is pretty good. But y- you know, I don't know. Is it a 1% bonus? Is it a 5% bonus? Yeah, I really hope that these end up being like significantly beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I don't know if you guys had seen, the posts or listened to Dreamer at the Decentraland thing, but there was definitely a picture of, and him talking about pets needing treats
Mm-hmm.
to get their appropriate boost. And I was like, okay, so definitely all those crappy items I've been selling for gold for the last 6 months. Maybe I should have been hanging on to some of those.
Yeah. Yeah, going back to the last episode, talking with the ogre, it's clear that they're continuing to layer mechanisms like this into the game, where it kind of embeds your real life money farther and farther down the chain, and makes it, I think, a little less liquid. And I think that's healthy for the overall game, because now it gives you a chance to leverage and utilize these items to do something in game, which is kind of their entire goal. And with that, as we also talked about last time, I think it actually increases the floor for the value of heroes. And so I actually think that you're going to see maybe more people holding on to quest armies of heroes, and I also think you're going to see people, scrambling to have better questing mechanisms for the quality of life of sending heroes out. Um, and that kind of takes me to a little um, outside of our agenda right now, but one thing that I've been looking at, I guess it's kind of associated with the Kingdoms Builder project, but I actually tried out the Diffkey questing bot for the first time. Neindorf, I know you've tried this as well. Joseph, have you tried this out, or are you aware of what this does?
I've actually have my own bot that I wrote myself running for, I don't know, months now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Perfect.
don't need to mess with that stuff.
so,
I love
so
it.
you got your own. All right, excellent. And kind of, so let's dive into that a little bit. What got you into wanting to start with botting? Is that something that you've had those skills before, and what brought you into that?
Yeah, actually, the way I got into DeFi Kingdoms, kind of a long story, but the abridged version is there's a person I used to edit for their YouTube channel, and his friend showed me this game called Crypto Blades on the Binance Smart Chain. And in Crypto Blades, you can fight and you have stamina.
Hmm.
Sound a little bit familiar?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
DeFi Kingdoms at the time released Wishing Well, and I was like, wait a second, this is exactly what I was doing in this. So I ported my code over, made some changes, and then I really really liked how the team kept pushing more and more updates, and it was like this fully fleshed ecosystem rather than just this kind of money grabbing thing that Crypto Blades was.
Nice,
Oh,
nice.
I like it.
Well, that's yeah. I've been really impressed with this mechanism. I would say I'm a slow adopter or have been slow to the game on this, and sending the first thing I did was send all my gardeners to that wallet because that is just a miserable existence to click through gardener quests right now. And I'm kind of working through sending some or trying to decide if I'm going to send my profession questers over there or not. But I found it to be pretty valuable. And actually, like with this extra time, today I decided I was going to spend some time, trying to browse the Twitter sphere, and that's actually what got me to see Guy Kids tweet about DFK Fight Club.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think I've used it a bit too, and I don't have a ton of heroes, and I still kind of enjoy questing them out. It gives me a reason to, kind of be in the game at the moment. So I don't really have a problem questing all my guys out, but what I would say is, if you've got, we got a little bit of a vacation this weekend where I'll be away, for a day or two at a time, and that's kind of when it's like, man, you want to be leaving that money on the table. So
Right.
that's kind of when I think some of these sorts of tools are really valuable. And I mean, I think you're going to see the sentiment towards these sort of questing helpers shift over time to be 100% normal.
More
It's
positive,
just
yeah.
yeah, it's just not possible to constantly be available every 4 hours for like say mining or gardening to be there at your phone.
I hear
It
you.
just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so
Yeah, kind of makes you like a secretary.
right.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
exactly.
Anything else from the release notes slash AMA? Well, I guess there wasn't. Was there an AMA this week? Anything else that you want to talk about from the DFK team?
They did say, yeah, that they said they're going to do everything they can to get duels out next week. I think the other part, I snuck in a question on the chat, asking it. You said once they said it was a smaller release, I asked like, uh, batched gardeners question mark, and they're like, well, that's actually more of a bigger release. I was like, oh,
Ooh,
sad day. It's like,
yeah.
uh,
Darn.
but we'll get that eventually.
Yeah. Although my desire for batch gardeners has gone down now that
That's
now that we went to
true.
questing bot. Yeah. All right. So Kingdom Builder. We talked about this a little bit with the essentially this is a Thanos production, the diff key questing bot that we're using. So if you jump over onto the Kingdom Builders website, you can check this out, and that's kind of where I'm starting to feel a lot more comfortable checking things out and diving into things. So going to you, Joseph, have you thought about coming up with a grant for what you're currently developing? And then let's quickly dive into give us the download on you decided that you wanted to create this game, but why did you want to do that? Help explain that for our listeners.
Yeah, so first on the grants, no plans yet, because I think a lot of people have a lot of great ideas, and I'm really bad at selling my ideas. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to focus on making something that people will hopefully enjoy. And um, whether or not it may be true is like if you build it, they will come. Asterisk if it
Feel the dreams.
sometimes, right?
Love it.
Um, that's just where I decided to start. I haven't given any thought to like how to like even start doing the grant proposal stuff. Um, so I guess that leads into what DeFi Kingdoms Fight Club is. It's basically what I want in a game from not only from DeFi Kingdoms, but just what I want in a game in general. The way that I got started in coding was making a game, and after a while, when I was trying to make the game, I'm like, okay, I can't make money from this. Maybe I need to get a big boy job. And 10 years later, now I've got my other projects going, and I also can work on this, which is kind of like a dream come true. So I get to reuse like a lot of the skills and ideas that I learned over the last 10 years and put it into what I want to be my baby.
Sure.
So yeah, if you're curious about like why the combat system is the way it is, I played a lot of RTS, a lot of MMOs, a lot of fighting games, all these like competition, one versus one better player wins most of the time. And when I saw that like DFK Arena, DFK Duels, these are like they're really cool. There's like a lot of strategy behind like developing your character, but once you send your characters there, there's nothing after that. And what I want to have is like you either win by out preparing or outplaying your opponent. And so this is what this game I'm trying to get it to be.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
very
I really like that. Yeah.
yeah, very
And that
much
might
near
be,
and dear
go
to
ahead,
my heart
John.
as well. Sorry, Neindorf, I interrupted you.
No,
Go ahead.
yeah, I was just kind of going to say that that's some of the feedback that I think we've heard from people, being that this is intended to be a blockchain game, is it's, that's going to be the difficult aspect, especially since they're coming at it, the DFK team, it seems like from more of a purist perspective, where they would love to get as much as they can on the blockchain. And there's definitely, middle ground you could take where, the battle could be hosted on a server and as soon as the results of the battle come out, that the answer, if you will, is posted to chain. But that still relies on the central server then to exercise that battle. So from a purist perspective, I see why they went the way they do, but I see the value in the way you're going, where you can do back and forths, turn based. You can it's more of a chess game, right? You're
Yeah.
more free to do that when you're not doing a million little blockchain transactions, especially if Harmony's struggling a little bit. That would just be awful.
Yeah, the ability to interject
Yeah,
skill, I think is absolutely necessary for a healthy game. Like you mentioned, I love that you kind of broke it down into two parts. The preparation before the game, and then the actual the piloting that's going on during the game itself. And I feel like you have the infrastructure here that can complement that very well.
yeah, and what Neindorf was saying, yeah, like when you want to make a blockchain game, and in your you have like all these restrictions placed upon you, and to build on top of that is very, very difficult. And I really think the way that the DeFi Kingdoms team is approaching it is like the right way to do things. Um, Luckily for me, I am not limited by that, so I get to make whatever I want.
You love it.
And though I think as we've talked about before, I think that they're also going for um, this metaverse of games that can add on to the infrastructure of the DeFi kingdoms to begin with. So I for one, I think this is an awesome candidate for a grant. And I would be fully in support of this. I think this is a fantastic, creative, and it's also like a complementary style to what they're trying to take on. It's not going to be what Duels is, and it's probably going to be a lot different than what their final combat system is, whatever that is developed to be. So I've been really impressed. All right, so let's just for our viewers that may not be exposed to this, let's just kind of break down the battle system a little bit. And so we've already talked about that this is turn based. You've also chosen for this to be three characters. Why did you choose three heroes or three characters? What was kind of your rationale behind that?
I think three characters is like a good middle ground. The game that I had in mind at first had like six characters, just like in Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted things to be more like everyone's on the battlefield at once. And I wanted each like, and while everyone's on the battlefield, everybody should kind of have a role. Um, so with that in mind, I think six characters is like you have like all these options and it gets to be too much. And I think three is a good amount where it's like you have a lot of options, but you still it's still limited enough where the other person can kind of have an idea of what you're doing.
I like that.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Because you can't spend, at the end of the day, you can't spend 20 minutes per turn, even though you're not waiting on the blockchain. You still got to wait on that other person.
Yeah. So you have the ability
Yeah.
to then choose um, it and I just jumped in today, so I'm learning here, and you'll have to go ahead and correct me if I get something wrong. So you have the ability to each character has two abilities, and I'm actually going to bring this up this sheet over on YouTube here, and there's a little bit of a time delay, so be patient, guys. So each character, or each class, I should say, has two abilities, and then your secondary class, you get to take one of those abilities on your hero. Is that how you have it organized? And then the third, or the excuse me, the fourth option is an interrupt. Kind of walk us through, how you chose for there to be four abilities.
Yeah, so I kind of thought like Pokemon, they kind of got it right. They've been doing it all these years, and people haven't really complained from a casual and competitive standpoint. There's actually a little bit more than four options. I guess you can categorize it as six. So you're pretty much there. You're like 95% right. So just a little bit is like you're correct at that two. You get two class skills. You get one subclass skill. You can interrupt your enemy, and then you can swap your characters around. And what this is going for is you should be able. Oh yeah, sorry. And then there's one more where it's called fierce attack, where you attack. You just do a regular attack. Um, should I go into like how the battle is structured, like how each turn is structured, or
Yeah,
you?
Yeah,
absolutely.
take it away. Absolutely.
All right, for sure. So in DeFi Kingdoms Fight Club, each turn is split up into like a couple of sections. It's you first have where both people are thinking about what action they want to do, and then they just like in Pokemon, once they both click their action, then it does the action, and then so this kind of gives a lot of mind games and stuff. And then so the thing that's the coolest is usually the skills. The skills you want your character to do the cool thing that you trained it to be, the way that you breeded it to have this subclass because you wanted it to be able to support your main class. That's like the meat of it. There's also fierce. I want to go also into interrupt. Interrupt makes it so you stop the other person's skill. This makes it so people who are like so today, actually, when I was playing against Raph, I was using my monk, and I was charging up my laser. So I was meditating, and then I shoot a big laser after charging up for 3 turns. What Raph could have done is, if he saw that I was charging up my laser, he could have interrupted me. So, and what that would have done would stop my laser and then reward Raph for and give him more energy.
If Raph was a skilled player, this is what he could have done.
Dude,
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's great to know.
perfect.
And I've played, well, not like any good from a competitive standpoint, but a lot of Pokemon. This feels a lot like Protect, the skill, which I feel does add an incredible layer of competition. Which is, it kind of, in a way, it's similar to an interrupt. And so, how else do you envision interrupt besides, the monk, and we'll dive into the classes. I have an image saved of what you call each class, and then the top, the two skills that each of them have. So we'll get to that next. But what else do you see, or how else do you see interrupt playing a role?
Well, first off, full disclosure, I lost to Raph in that battle. It was a very close match, but I did shoot with my laser, and then I got killed. But anyways, how I also see interrupt being used is I mentioned mind games, and then so one of the people who helps me play test, he knows exactly what I'm going for, where I'm like rotating between my frontline skill and then my second character, because you can also use your second character skill too. And he knows exactly when I'm using the first character or the second character, because he's just that ahead of me in terms of skill. And so what happens is he just builds up a bunch of meter, and I just can't do anything. Um, so that's another way that I think interrupt comes into play. And the final way that I've seen it being used is when when I'm trying to retreat my character, you can also retreat. You can also interrupt that. And so if you
Okay,
know that
right.
like my low HP character is like about to switch out, you interrupt me and I have to stay in. And so that kind of brings in more of like you can kind of win through war of attrition if you're strong enough.
Hmm.
Um, and
So
one final caveat is oh shit, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, can you explain to me the charging meter a little more? That was something that as I was jumping into this first time, it just
Yeah.
I didn't quite I don't know if I fully grasp what's going on here. I get that you're building up and certain heavy or stronger skills then require your hyper beam requires a full
Yeah.
charge. But what's kind of the explain some more of those mechanics there for our listeners.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody here has played Street Fighter or like the Dragon Ball Fighters, but in these more traditional fighting games, there's something called meter, and meter is this bar that you build whenever you attack or when you get hit. In this game, you just build it a little bit every turn depending on your character's stats. And the reason why I have this instead of mana, even though they function virtually similarly, like exactly the same, well, not exactly the same, but very similarly, is I want people to, it's an extra resource to manage that you have to build rather than you start with a bunch of mana and then you just spend it all as soon as you can.
Hmm.
So when you're starting off the game, you start with 0 meter. You can either like you have to build it, you can charge with it with a monk. I might implement new things later, but for now, those are the main ways to just build meter. You can also build meter by interrupting the other person. Um, and so once you build that meter, then you can use it for your more powerful skills. Most skills take 1 meter, and then there are some several like stronger attacks, like the monk, that takes 3 meters.
I like that it kind of separates it creates a cost of a skill. And I think that, ultimately will help balance the game because you could then, tweak the power of skills and the cost of skills as well. And then it's not all stat based, which has been not only is the stat based game just random, but I also feel like it's challenging that if you don't go out and buy the most expensive heroes and get the best luck when rolling up, that you may not stand a chance in some games like the DFK Arena. So I like the approach that you're taking on this.
Yeah, you actually hit it right on the nail right on its head. Earlier today, after I ran a playtest earlier today, and someone gave me feedback that the paladin's healing skill wasn't very powerful, and I was like, yeah, it makes sense, and I'll just remove the meter requirement for it.
Hmm.
Um, so it just provides me an extra layer of toggling for balance.
Sure. So let's and now I'm sharing on my screen the image of all the different classes, and you don't have all of them developed yet. But I like that you've kind of given a verbiage describing every hero type, and like it's crazy. Like it was almost like coming up with a similar thing on my own, thinking about like what if DFK could become like a deck building game. And it's and then you go on to describe on the next part of the matrix is the two skills that each of the heroes have. So kind of walk us through your vision of, we won't, for the sake of time here, have you read through every single hero type, but maybe like what stuck out to you, and like, maybe give us one of the heroes, and why you chose their name or what you're kind of calling them, and then the skills that you've given that hero.
Sure. So, from an overall standpoint, I don't like forcing players to play a certain way. What I want to do is provide you a bunch of different tools, and I want to see what you can create out of it. So, for example, like one of the more low-hanging fruit is the monk. I'm really proud of how it's kind of designed. It's one thing that can like you can charge up a bunch of meter really really fast, and then you have the key blast which takes 3 meter and you blast people away with it. What people can go on and do with this is just have like a suicide monk where all it's doing is there and it's just charging, and then once it's dead, then you send in your other characters.
I like that. I like that. So, what else? Like, let's get this. This is actually kind of really neat to hear your rationale behind that. Like, maybe give us another character. Why did you
Do
develop
you
in
want to
that way?
choose one? Yeah. I mean, I
Um,
love all of them. So
all right.
just
So
yeah,
my
pick one and I'll
my personal favorite hero that I currently have is my thief. I have a thief. So yeah, tricky offensive attacks.
right.
That right there, you are speaking my language. Like a character that can do sneaky, tricky things that annoys the opponent. You're speaking my language. So already I'm hooked. I'm glad I invested in a thief right there.
Nice. Yeah, yeah. That's the feeling that I want people to have. Like they're
Yeah.
like, this class I really like, and how do I build around this class? But so how the thief will work is he has two skills. He's got the backstab skill where it attacks the midline, and if the enemy is swapped, it does double damage instead. And it has a Viper Strike where it does a little bit of damage, but it applies poison, where the person will lose a little bit of life each turn. So what this is supposed to encourage is you're supposed to poison the person, and when they're trying to run away, you backstab them. And so yeah, that's kind of the idea behind the thief.
All right, I like it. And I would say, just so you know, my second favorite type, probably no surprise, is a ninja. So tricky swaps as well. Let's just let's
Yeah.
hit that.
Yeah, so if you look at the ninja, it has two very, very position-oriented skills. The first is Caltrops. If you've played Pokemon, this is Spikes.
Yeah.
Spikes is whenever you switch, you take a little bit of damage. And even though it's not a little much, if you keep forcing the person to switch, they're going to be really, really screwed. And so that's the first skill. And then the second skill is Vendetta. And what it does is you can you pull the enemy with the least HP to the front and then attack it. And then in addition to that, you're going to get your regular auto attack as well.
And does
So
that trigger a switch?
yes, it does.
Okay, so it
So
stacks.
oh, yeah, exactly. And I want to point out that although there's already kind of like a set play style for this, you can use these however you want. You can use it as like you can use like the pirate, or you can use like a knight to push the person instead, and combine that with caltrops, where you're not using your ninja to kind of assassinate people. You're just using the caltrops, running away, and then you use other characters to do the dirty work.
So I need to ask a question on the switching mechanism. And I've only played a couple times now, but when you switch, are you able to use the hero coming in? Do they get to use an attack, or are you like switching and that person gets, the opponent gets a free shot on the person coming in?
So there is a little bit of a free shot because when you're switching, the other person could be using a skill.
Okay.
But how each turn in DeFi, the Fight Club works is first everybody swaps, then people who use skills, and then everybody does their auto attack. Or if both teams do the front character does their auto attack. And so
Okay.
this front auto attack kind of is a neutralizer where if you swap out and you swap at your new character, they're going to do the auto attack.
Got it. But they don't get a chance to do a skill.
Right. There needs to be a little penalty for doing that.
Okay, great. Now I'm gonna have to advocate here for a thief skill that I would love to see in the game. I'm sorry, Neindorf. I feel like I'm monopolizing this.
No, I'm loving it.
All right, I'll say my idea here, and then I'll let you go. All right, so my idea for a thief or a ninja skill that I think would be absolutely amazing is I want like you've played Pokemon obviously. I want U-turn, where my really fast thief can attack first and then swap out, and then I can bring a tanky character in, so I can get some free damage off, switch out, and then bring my paladin in or whatnot. So that's my idea. Take it for what it's worth. So that's something that I think would be neat in the game.
I think that is a great idea. The closest thing I have to that is the Pirate's Cannon Barrage, where it deals damage and it pushes yourself back.
Oh, I like that. That is
So
neat.
Oh, that's
yeah,
clever.
so if you have a ninja pirate, you already have the thing that you want.
All right, I just need to breed a ninja pirate now. Okay,
Yeah.
Neindorf, what are your thoughts? I try to share onto to Discord screen here some of these classes. Anything you want to dive into on detail?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just reading through this, and yeah, there's so many combinations coming to mind. I think you've done a really good job on this first design here of these skills. However, I would say I see my favorite one is blank. I'm a summoner guy. I want to see, I, I want to
Little
see what you
skellies,
got
right?
there. Yeah, I mean, is it like, I want to see these little guys that I'm summoning forth to get in the way, or however you see that going. I'll let your creative juice flow, but I'm super excited to see what you come up with for Summoner.
Yeah, yeah. I'm also a summoner guy. Like the classes that I have, the most advanced classes that I have are actually summoners. So I'm kind of giving myself by not designing summoner yet.
I'm just envisioning, like, I've played a lot of Path of Exile, and there's some of those where you have, either the totems or the things that you're literally just filling the screen with your guys, and you're just kind of chilling, and they are literally running rampant. Like that's kind of what it's like. I'm just envisioning some sort of cool system like that. Obviously, that's going to get really hard because then you got more characters on screen, and it gets challenging. But I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I'm loving the idea. I also freaking love Path of Exile. I have never had the time to actually invest and get actually anywhere of worth, but I read through like
Me
a lot of
either.
blogs, and I freaking love how you can combine skills. That's so cool.
Yes, the chaining. Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Rebel Scum says, "My question: Are we allowed to talk about this?" No, we are breaking. I think I saw you come in late, Rebel Scum. No, we are breaking what we talked about is rules 1 and 2 of Fight Club. So, yeah, that no, we're messing that up big time here. All right. Well, okay. So with battling, um, could you? This is I really like this chart. Could you also, maybe create a version of this chart that shows what the charge meter cost is for some of those more expensive skills?
Yeah, yeah. It shows up in game, but for the graphic, I left it out. Sorry.
No, that's all right. I think I'll probably be keeping this up as a cheat sheet when I'm playing. So just yeah, just an idea that I thought of when I was trying to play you earlier today. All right, so tell us a little bit about your schedule and what are your short term goals and so people join the Discord in order to do this fight. I guess first walk us through how do people set up an account and when can they do battles?
Right. So to set up your account, you just join the Discord and you type /register. And what will happen is the bot will make a wallet for you, and where you have the private key for it and the address, and you just need to send like 0.001 gold to it. And once the bot has received that, you type register again, and it'll say, okay, this wallet that you just registered, I'm going to look at that wallet for all your heroes, and that's it. Now you're completely registered. And next would be to set up your team. So what you can do is you can do type slash I think view wallet heroes, and what that will do is that will show like a list of all the heroes in your wallet. And then once you have like an idea of what you want to do, you do like choose team /choose team, and then you can choose a character by their ID and then the position that you want them to start in, so front, mid, or back. Um, the whole thing is a little it's a bit lengthy. I think maybe it'll take like 1 minute if you're fast and 5-10 minutes if you're slow. Um, and I'm trying to improve on that, but yeah.
Have you ever thought why did you choose to make this in Discord?
Because I hang out a lot in Discord, and I was just like, hey, I mean, if I'm already here, like, I'm sure other people are there too. So like,
Yeah.
why not like,
I love it. Do you ever plan on, taking this into like like a web program or something like that?
maybe we'll see how it goes. I think making it into a web program will make it look a lot more legit, and then but right now I feel like I can make something that I think is pretty unique in Discord where
Yeah.
the fights are being generated and then you're seeing a video of your fight. Although it's just more of like a slideshow rather than animations, it's something.
Yeah, one thing that I might say is another request is I do like the videos, but I'd love to see maybe like a text description. I don't know if that's possible as well of like these things happen. I feel like especially like as I'm playing, like I'm under pressure to choose my next skill right away, and I found myself like trying to fast forward through the video, like I need to know what happened to me in order for me to make my
Actually,
next decision.
you see how it says like you're over the video right now, and there's a lot of
Yeah.
black blank text. Like this is how turn six played out. Click that blanked text for me, will you?
Um. Oh.
There's a spoiler text.
Oh. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that. Wow. How silly me. So is that like just
Yeah.
like spoiler alert then? So you're just hiding it until in case you want to watch the video?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wow. That's super smart. Awesome. Okay, so people join, they set up their wallets, and how many battles can your Discord server currently support at once, and like when can people battle?
They can battle whenever the bot is online, and I have no idea how many battles it can handle at once because honestly, not many people are talking about Fight Club. So,
That's
They're following the rules.
yeah, that's how they designed it. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
All right. Um, Neindorf, any other questions you have on this?
No, honestly, I'm like I said, I'm still kind of soaking this in, and I'm loving it. It is a another very fresh take, and I think, I'm gonna pressure you here. I think you need to do a grant proposal. This is one of those things where it provides another outlet where people can see their heroes come to life. I think you'd be surprised the traction you'll get, and you get yourself exposed to some more of the community. I think people are gonna love this, and and I like that you can quickly change it. You don't have to go through the pain and the suffering of, recompiling and all of that, all of your smart contracts, relaunching a new contract address to the blockchain, and going through that somewhat slow iterative process. You can kind of just tweak your code and relaunch your server. So I love it. I think you got something going here.
oh, thanks so much.
How can we support you? I see already we have a few YouTube listeners out there already jumping into the Fight Club server. What else can we do to support you?
Just give me feedback. Play against each other, fight each other, beat each other up. The thing that I want to see the most is like, I'll know I'll have made it when someone's like, oh, I need to read this specific combination because that's what I want in Fight Club.
Ah, yeah. Good point.
Yeah, very awesome. Okay, Neindorf, help me come up with an idea of what are we going to do for a giveaway. I think it's a very fitting giveaway idea I had today is I'm going to give away a Might Stone to one of our YouTube listeners as, we're shilling Fight Club. What better than a Might Stone to support strength? So, or excuse me, I don't think I have a Might Stone. A Might Crystal. If I have a Might, you know what? What the heck? I'll let the person choose. And they are lesser Might Crystals and lesser Might
There
Stones.
you go.
I am not a whale. And so I can't afford to give out a full Might Stone. How should we do this giveaway over here on YouTube? Any suggestions?
Ooh. We usually like to do some sort of trivia. Maybe you got any? What's your favorite movie or something?
Joseph, favorite movie quote, or maybe we could do something Fight Club themed. Do you have a movie trivia question that we could do about Fight Club for our YouTube listeners out there?
Hmm.
That's
How
tricky.
about how about well, one of the things that I do not when I'm not in front of a computer is do judo. How about the first person who can say a judo throw?
Oh man,
Love it.
do it. All right, you heard it, everybody.
All right, the gauntlet's been laid.
We'll give them a moment to respond, obviously, because it might take
All
Then
right.
to
a
Google
second.
it.
Yeah. While we're
Hey, that's
waiting,
fair, right?
Rebel Scum had a question. Can this be embedded in other discords, i.e., a guild embed this in their discord? Is that something you've thought about?
Yeah, that's something that I want to expand to. Right now, I haven't, but yeah, it's definitely one of the things that I can definitely do.
Cool.
Nice. Rebel Scum's got a whole bunch of questions here as we're kind of waiting for the delay to kick through here. Um, are there natural combos, i.e., classes skills that blend well together um, that you know of?
Right now, I don't know. Oh, there you go. There's a couple of judo throws.
We got him.
But yeah,
Is J Dub first?
yeah, Jada looks to be first.
J Dub's first. You're gonna have to, you're gonna have to quality check this for me because I know zero
Oh,
judo.
yeah, I know all of these. Can I give Rebel Scum for saying my favorite judo throw, Osotogari?
Oh yeah. What do you want to give
Yeah, all
Rebel
right.
Scum?
I'll give him. Was it a Mite Stone or a Mite
Oh
Crystal?
yeah, for sure. All right,
Yeah,
we'll
I'll
give it
double it
a.
up.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah. I also see he's asked if there's a minimum bet. Right now, for DeFi Fight Club, there is no betting. That's something that I want to implement later. Um, yeah. So it's
That
free
makes
right now.
sense. You know,
But, yeah.
get the proof of concept out there, get people playing it and loving it first. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I'll give a Mite's crystal to J Dub for being first, and you'll give one to Rebel Scum for being your favorites.
Yeah, for being my favorite Osotogari
All right,
throw.
excellent.
That's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to do some research now. This is interesting.
Yeah. All right, very good. Well, we have you over on our Discord channel for Adventures in DeFi Kingdom. So, JDub, drop me your OX, and I will send you a lesser Mite Crystal. And then over in Discord, your Discord name is what again, Joseph?
Oh, it's Vay22, but I put it as Tylius Durdinius.
Okay. All right.
Very nice.
So, Rebel Scum, go ahead and hit up Joseph on our Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms Discord channel as well. All right. Well, thank you very much for being on with us tonight. Any kind of closing comments, Joseph, that you have for our audience out there?
Thanks for talking with me and breaking the first two rules of Fight Club.
Yeah. Nine,
Nice.
Neindorf, what do you have to close us down?
Honestly, I guess my really thought about this is I think, these are the sorts of things that you need in this kind of market where people are like kind of down on this stuff a little bit. It's one of those things where the community is building really cool tools and really awesome things, and it's going to keep people here and it's going to keep us having fun. And once things turn around, I think we'll be really happy with where we're sitting with all of this in DeFi Kingdoms. So uh, couldn't be more happy about all this.
I agree. I'm really excited as well, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what else you build out there. And I think we got an army of playtesters ready to go. And as we briefly chatted about just before we went live, I'd love to support by doing some battle analysis. And so if we could get access to the
Yeah.
data, I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks, YouTube listeners out there, and we appreciate you tuning in. This is Raf streaming to you live high above the keep in the hot air balloon. Have a good night.